Today we are going to learn about why your collectible coins still have a face value despite being worth quite a lot more than the value printed on them. This is an excellent question which comes from one of our wonderful viewers, PC1384, and the question was essentially asking why coins that have a considerably higher retail price, why it is that the face value on them is so low. So for instance, you might have a $1 silver proof coin which has a legal tender face value of $1, but the coin itself might be selling for $150 or even more. So today let's take a bit of a look and I will hopefully explain. There's a very good chance that I won't give a clear explanation, but you'll hear a lot of my thoughts and I'll probably just waffle on for a bit. So let's continue. So this question got me thinking about legal tender in a number of different senses. So I'm basically going to sidestep the question for the introduction and talk about something that occasionally comes up as a question. So the country under which a coin is issued is something that sometimes comes up. So what I mean by that is the government under which a particular coin is issued. So you can have a face value of $1, but if you look on some of your coins, your collectible coins, on the obverse, also known as the head side, you'll see the government or the country under which that particular coin was issued. So for instance, I've brought along for show and tell the Royal Australian Mint's Desert Scorpion coin. Now this is issued by the Royal Australian Mint. The coin has a distinctly Australian theme, and it also has a $1 face value. And you'll notice here the word Australia in the legend. So this is an Australian $1 legal tender coin. However, you will occasionally see, not occasionally, often, if you're interested in collectible coins, proof coins in particular, you'll notice coins that will have Niue, Cook Islands, Tuvalu, and various other Pacific nations listed on them. Now the reason for this is that not all coins can be legal tender in Australia, even the ones that are produced here. So a number of the coins that are produced by the Perth Mint, as well as various private mints, will have one of these other nations listed on them. Now the reason for this is, my understanding is that in order to be issued as legal tender currency in Australia, there are a number of requirements that must be met in order to go through the currency determination and be approved for production. My understanding is that one of the key characteristics for a coin is that it must have an Australian theme to it. So that explains why we see so many coins with various Australian animals, flora and fauna, all that sort of jazz. It's because these things need to be distinctly Australian in order to meet the requirements for production. When a coin or a theme falls outside of this, we'll often see them issued under various other Pacific nations, and I have another such example of that right here. This here is a release from Downey's. It is the Mars from Phobos coin. I've probably mispronounced that, so I apologize to anyone, but I've done my best. So this coin has a Mars theme, obviously not a whole lot to do with Australia at the moment. As a result, you see the portrait of King Charles, and it's issued under the government of Niue. So they're just two examples. Obviously, there are a number of different variations to this, and coins issued under the Cook Islands and various shapes, sizes, and all that sort of jazz. But I guess the main question was, why do these coins have a face value that is so much lower than the retail value? Now the reason for that is, as a coin collector, I want to put together a collection of coins, and this is just my perception, this is my opinion if you will. If a coin does not have a face value, it's referred to either as a round, a medallion, or a token. Now, I have no problem with people collecting those things. I've got a number of tokens myself. But it's not a coin, it doesn't have the legal tender status, and it wasn't issued by one of the major mints around the world. One of the other aspects to having legal tender coinage is it's actually a federal offense, and I'll link to one of my videos somewhere where I talk about that, the reality that people are unable to deface legal tender coinage. Similarly, they're not able to counterfeit it without it being a federal offense, which is very, very serious. Now that's also not to say that tokens and metals are fair game for you to start copying. I'm sure there's all sorts of copyright issues and things like that, but that's not what we're here to discuss. We're talking about legal tender. Now, if you have one of these $1 coins, proof coin, let's say we'll use the Desert Scorpion again as the example. It has a $1 face value, which is to say it is worth $1 in Australia. However, it's not intended for circulation, and if you were to deposit it, I imagine, and I should try this is a good follow-up video, I'm generating content for myself here. You could go to the Reserve Bank in Martin Place in Sydney, and my understanding is that you could deposit your Desert Scorpion coin for $1 or exchange it for $1 coin, a circulating dollar coin. So that's something that I might try out with one of perhaps a lower value coin with a little less collectability. Now, obviously, all of these coins that we're referring to, collectible coins, are not intended for circulation. So you would generally have a bit of trouble using them at your local supermarket. And as a result, the term that you may see, or an acronym that you may see in Australian collecting, is NCLT, which is non-circulating legal tender. And those coins are often the $1 coins that are issued by the Perth Mint. And the reason for this is that they are often quite a bit larger. So they're larger in diameter than the standard circulating $1 coins that are issued by the Royal Australian Mint. That's possibly another point worth highlighting. The Royal Australian Mint in Canberra is the only mint that produces circulating legal tender in Australia. The Perth Mint produces a number of legal tender coins, however, none of them are intended for circulation. So your 1 ounce silver coins, right up to your big 10 kilo silver coins, or even the large gold coins with really high face values, are not intended for circulation. And I guess that drives back to the original point that these coins are often made of a precious metal, so gold or silver, and the value of the gold or silver will be significantly higher than that of the face value. This fact also reminded me of two interesting points in Australian history, one being the introduction of the 50-cent coin in 1966. If you've watched my other videos, you'll know that they're 80% silver, and before too long it was apparent that the silver content was worth more than the face value. Now you can imagine there was a lot of excitement. People were loading up bank bags with the new 50-cent coins and hoarding them away for the silver value. That's great for silver enthusiasts, but the function of circulating currency is for the economy to move, and if everyone's hoarding up the circulating coinage, everything sort of grinds to a halt. And the other example that came to mind was the iconic Adelaide pound. Again, shortly after its production in 1852, it became apparent that the gold content was worth more than the £1 face value. And my understanding is that as a result, quite a number of them were melted down. But again, I'll link to another video that gives you more information on the Adelaide pound as well. So this video has been a lot of fun to make. I really enjoy talking about this subject, but it's a really roundabout way of saying the reason I believe, the reason that the face value of collectible coins is so low is ultimately because they're not intended to be circulated, and I couldn't imagine the few supermarkets that actually have cashiers taking physical coins would have a nightmare of a time if you started paying with your antiqued 2 ounce silver coins, you know, your 1 kilo silver coins, all that sort of thing. The tills probably physically wouldn't cope with it, and as a result, the denomination is more of a symbolic representation of, you know, it being currency. It's not actually used as currency. It's predominantly for collectors and with bullion coins for investors. So this has been a lot of fun. I'm not sure that I've really answered the question clearly, but you've allowed me to have a bit of a riff on some ideas, and sometimes I don't say these things out loud. So as I'm saying, I'm thinking as well. And also, I'll just highlight one last point before anyone in the comments picks it out. You may have noticed as I'm chatting away that I've got a bit of a pink tongue. The reason for that is I have been eating some raspberry drops that I got from Sovereign Hill over the Christmas break. So if you ever get the chance, I highly encourage you to go down. You can see a gold pour. They pour a 100 ounce gold bar, which is a hoot. And you can even do a little bit of gold panning. So there you go. Hot tip from Thompson's Coins on holiday destinations. If you enjoy this sort of content, if you like chatting about coins or watching me chat about coins and you've got any opinions and ideas, feel free to pop them in the comments. Please subscribe to the channel and you'll be notified. Hopefully you'll get notified of upcoming videos. But at any rate, if you've got any thoughts on legal tender, do you think we should do away with it and everything would just be medallions and rounds? Let me know. I don't think so. What I would like to see, and this is my final send-off. I'll actually end the video now. What I would like to see is what the Perth Mint in particular had done, and the Royal Australian Mint have done it as well, on the changeover coins, the 50th anniversary of decimalisation in Australia, is a smaller version of the monarch's effigy on the obverse. So you would be able to have a lot more of the design. So you can have a whole new design on the head side of a coin, as well as the main design on the reverse of the coin. Let me know if you think that's a good idea. At any rate, thank you very much for watching. Any thoughts and comments, let me know. I always like responding to the comments, and we'll see you in the next one.